Well, aloha everybody. Alan Nagao here from Honolulu, Hawaii. My background, 24 years in the business selling kites. I come from very humble beginnings, born with a birth defect, without missing some fingers, missing my right leg. So elementary school was very difficult for me, but God always gives you something when he takes something away. That was the smile on my face. Ran my kite business, met a very special mentor, Joseph Green, and he taught me the philosophies of success. And through that way, I developed this incredible work habit and way to develop my business. And my kite business went to $2,000 a day from $80 a day. My business became about yo-yos. I made $1 a yo-yo, hoping to sell 1 million yo-yos in Japan. My first year, 10.5 million yo-yos. So I retired literally at 39 years old and thought maybe I would retire the rest of my life. Well, that was not in the cards. And just 5 years of retirement, I was sick of retirement. My good friend, a friend of Eileen's, Jim Hadziki, called me and asked me to do New Skin, and I started my business. And I was definitely not a rocket ship to success. I was 2 years doing New Skin Lapis Executive, and we were, I was going to Utah studying every month, this process of how to do the New Skin business. And I realized that, this business is much more than just a journey of, working. It's a journey of personal development. And I was learning a lot, and I started to apply my personal development to the business. I became a blue diamond, but I was really what they call a pancake blue diamond. I remember driving up with a very strong guy, Mike Roth. We're driving up to Utah one day. He was a ruby, I was a blue diamond. Driving up, I asked him one day, "How many executives do you have?" And he said, "Over 125." I was shocked. I was a blue diamond. I had 36 executives. I said, "You make more money than me." He goes, "Yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, because I drive the lines. I know how to, and I have practiced drive the line." And so the whole 11 hours, the rest of the journey was about questions and about how to do this process. And I studied with Mike Ross. He gave me some very good inspiration on what I could do and how I could do it. And he said to me, if you just find one line with a locker and a locker, you will have incredible volumes in business and executives. That was my next quest. I was already a blue diamond, but I was on the quest to find a locker leg. He told me some of the secrets. He called it a 5 level rule that your first locker will be probably on your 5th level. I heard that before from Nathan Ricks, Jeff Mack, but I didn't understand the process. They would make 2 drawings and they would say, "This is how it works, like this and like this," and then it's done. And, it didn't make sense to me. Well, sure enough, it's definitely more than 2 drawings. And today I'm going to draw you the things. And I have come up with, first of all, there's 3 things you really need to have this drive the line work for you. Number one, you need a good mindset. You need the mindset of a leader. A leader attracts a leader. So work on your mindset to be a leader and just do whatever it takes to go to the top. And that is the first mindset. Number two, you need some technical skills. In the basic trainings, we teach you how to, write your contact list, how to invite, how to bring people to presentations. And doing enough presentations is great, but doing a presentation quick enough in less than 35 minutes is one of the keys, because if you do a presentation too long, you will never get to the most important steps. So write that down. less than 35 minutes presentation. 25 minutes is even better. The most important thing is have enough time to get their top 5 name list, top 5 name list. Now, that in itself is like an inviting skill. It requires practice. So that is one of the things, the skills you must develop by practice. So the third thing you need is practice. You need to develop the art of getting their top 5 name list. It's not as simple as just, hey, so who's the top 5 contacts? You think people are going to give it to you? Absolutely not. But if you start realizing that your brain is like a drawer and it is full of different contacts, and you want to get the smallest drawer you can to open, maybe it's in your family, who's the strongest business person you know? That has brought the drawer smaller, and maybe there's only one name in the drawer. So you have to learn this technique of being able to ask with some finesse. But I'm looking for not who is your best contact, but I'm looking for really strong business people in your family. Who's the strongest business person? At your high school, who was the class president? In your group of friends, who is the most like entrepreneurial? And that ends up to be names that you want to get. Learn the art of getting the top 5 name list. And you must do that all the time. You must practice it. So these are some of the skills. So you want the technical skills down, and then you want to get like the top 5 name skills. I do recommend you study what is called third party inviting. And third party is a way so that you can look behind the person that you're inviting, look behind them. And if that doesn't make sense, just talk to your senior partners. They will talk about this third party inviting, or look it up, Google it. Today's topic, drive the line. So I'm going to give you the technical ways to do this. And the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen. And with this screen share, I'm going to be able to use a whiteboard. So you can see my whiteboard here. And what I'm going to ask you to do is write a team elite map. And a team elite map comprises of a list of contacts. And I'm going to draw the map out like this. Now, the first thing across the top, write down the categories of people you know. Now, obviously you have family members, but most of us have our moms and our dad's family. So two completely different families of people that may or may not know each other very well. We have friends from school, but not just school. We have elementary school, high school, college, university. We know people from our community, personal development. I did Psi seminars, so that could be a category. I did other personal development seminars with Tony Robbins. There are, so friends, family, business, community, but divide it all up. I had friends from the band that I was in middle school. I had school teachers, many people elementary, and believe it or not, I prospected those people. I prospected my high school principal, my 2 elementary school teachers, my 2 favorite ones. They gave me contacts of people that I knew, and I made contacts with those people using this technique. So the most important thing, so you're going to write names. For example, Psi seminars, all of the names. I know over 100 people in the 2 or 3 years that I really worked a lot with that seminar and personal development. Elementary school, yeah, at least 50 people that I still have knowledge of and maybe have contacts on Facebook. So consider when you're writing this team elite map, what you're going to do is you start doing your prospecting, but suddenly one of those prospects comes in as SI seminar graduates. So once you get one, this is the principle I want you to get. Once you get one of them in one of the categories, then focus all of your effort on that line. By doing this, you're concentrating your effort and putting all of the other people that you know on the priority list of your prospecting effort. And you start calling them. I know over 100 of these seminar graduates. So once I got one, I started to actually prospect others. And what I did was whoever decided to come in first became the top one on the downline drive, and I was driving the line. Now, when I drive the line, often it is kind of put forward that you're going to maybe start to drive the line by getting one person and then top 5 name list, and then another person, top 5 name list, and another person. But what I'm saying in this drive the line process, because I know all of these people, I can prospect 100 people, and I am good at prospecting. I have built skills. I have the mindset. I have the technical skills. So I have the practice. So of course, I'm quite skilled at this. I can do this rapidly. And this is one of the keys with Drive the Line. How fast can you get down the line? So if this is me, Alan, up here, and I have my first 5 person here coming in, I'm going to now prospect as many as I can and put them under each other. And this way I am driving the line very rapidly. I am getting them to give me their top 5 name list, and especially focused in the size seminars. So I ask each of them, who do you think is the best leader? Who's the most active? Who has the most passion? Who is, somebody we should try and talk to? And everybody is giving me names, and I'm starting to put their names below and creating meetings with these people. So you notice that everybody in the team is helping the drive the line process just because of this one line I'm going down. And it doesn't sponsor in the order I wrote it. It might be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. But there is a feeling as I'm doing this that if I wait to decide, I will be further down the list because I'm getting 1, 2, or 3 people. This example is a real example. I did it. And, we got the first 3 people. It was Alan and Grant, who is my front line. I thought Grant was going to be one of my yo-yo lines. I was prospecting him as yo-yos, but he had also gone to men's leadership seminar inside seminars. So he said, Alan, you said you're looking for leaders, right? I think we should go to see the president of our association first, Dwight. I said, wow, great idea. Okay, let's do that. I knew where Dwight works. I've been to his office many times. So we got off of my presentation with Grant when he signed up, and that morning we saw Dwight. We signed him up, LOI, and Dwight gave us a few names, but Grant's brother was also the next president, and we got the brother and one of his vice presidents into the business that night. So I did 3 meetings that day, and we got 3 LOIs. Okay, now they realized that everybody else who was part of this MLS, Men's Leadership Seminar, they were all leaders, and we were going to be driving a line through this process. So yes, the business idea was enticing, but just the fact that I was going to build a really huge line and I was going to put all of them under each other, they got a bigger idea than just the business itself. They saw that it was a good business, that we were making good on it, but they could see the potential of the people coming in would be also a great benefit to them. And so it is part of Drive the Line is a feeling. They could feel it. It was coming and they were going to participate or not. And they realized that we were looking for their decision. Were they going to come in? Were they going to LOI? Did they get it? And we did. We started putting it in. This team went 14 generations down of LOIs within 2 weeks. Okay, that's really quick. That's with some experience and with really an effort to contact these people as fast as we could contact them. So we were making calls every day and driving the line. So that is step one, everybody. Drive the line. Now everybody's putting in contacts. So eventually, I put in 3 or 4 people. Dwight put in 1. Grant put in like 4, and it went straight down. You understand what happened? Everybody was starting, and then we had others down here at level 5 that started to even go further down, looking for leaders, looking for places, different places. Now, each one of these people also have friends, family, business, and community, right? So they also have their own leads that we can follow as we get their top 5 list. But it's nearly impossible without this team elite map to drive it that fast. And I am talking, you must drive your lines very, very rapidly. So I'm going to draw it out for you, the timing of the drive the line. So you want to go down 1 level every 3 days at the longest. Now I told you we went 3 levels down in 1 day. Okay, so we were down 3 levels. This is Grant. And we went down 3 levels in 1 day. But at the very minimum, every 3 days. And why is this timing of Drive the Line important? Because if you have 30 days in a month, and assuming you started at the very beginning of the month, you can then go down 10 levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, well, 1 more, 10 levels down in 30 days. This is a very important number because when you drive a line really quickly, it secures people in the line. People don't just quit the next day. It's very much more, they want to see what's going to happen. They want to see the end of the story. So it secures the line. I call it hot potato. There is a toy, you crank it up and it goes, and then you pass it around the room very quickly, and whoever gets left with it when it goes, when it pops, loses, right? So the key is go as fast as you can around the room. Well, that's what we're doing. We know that the person that got into the business will be probably hot for about 3 days. Think of it like a fish. You catch a fish, you put it on your counter. What does it smell like after 3 days? Not very good. But a week, that fish stinks. And a month, you won't even be able to come in the house. Okay? So you want to keep fresh the people. And by getting downline in under them very quickly, you have the hot potato getting hot and hot and hot all the way down. And people feel very confident in that. If you sponsored in another direction, like sponsored like this, all of your people, let's say they were all my Psi friends, they would be always asking you, when are you going to work with me on my line? and you keep on sponsoring in the front line, maybe one of them sponsors one, but now you start working on another one. Oh, that was my friend. And now there's a competition. This you want to avoid. You want to avoid this competition for the same prospects. By driving the line, everybody that knows each other are all under each other, and they feel good that you got somebody in under them that they knew. And because they do know each other, high school friends, we all know each other, maybe 100, more than 100, 200. So yes, you can drive the lines in this process. Now, I know with social media, it's not as easy. People don't know each other maybe that well, but you might want to gang together people in different cities that could possibly help each other. Now, be careful when you do this. Ganging them together is not always a good idea. If they can help each other, or if they're by profession, all of the real estate people, put them all together is not a bad idea. But try to be careful about that process of ganging the people together. So as I built in Colombia, I met Patty Acosta in Newport Beach, California. We went to Colombia together. Basically, any prospect that I met on the street, I didn't speak Spanish, but some people speak English. I would introduce them to Patty, and I would put everybody else in Colombia under Patty because I knew she was my leader. I was going to help her to build that market. She had leaders in every city. We put the city's leader. We put other people that we met under that city leader as much as possible. It's not possible to do it perfectly, but as much as possible, when we prospected people, we put it under our city leaders and continue to drive the line that way. So that is the first way. We call it ganging people together and drive the line as fast as you can, the hot potato. Okay. Now I'm going to cover a few more steps. That is actually just step one, where to sponsor people, where to put people. Okay. And I did it by timing. So if somebody LOI, I put them in the next position under. Now, what we're going to talk about is called fanning the line. You're driving the line down. Remember that theoretically you can go through 5 contacts, and we did do that at times. Go through 5 contacts, and one of them signs up, we put them in. Now, as we're putting them in, suddenly we're telling everybody, find your 4 or 5 good leaders. Find your 4 or 5 good leaders. But suddenly one of them start to find leaders. And how you know is because you help them find 1 or 2, but they keep on bringing people to you. They are active, and they are very actively a leader. You can see them act as a leader. They start really doing this, and they find other leaders. They find LOIs. So we're going down. We have LOIs going down. We have an LOI here. And suddenly now we have LOI, 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 LOI going across. And we think, wow, there could possibly be our leader. This person becomes a brand rep, a executive right away. Brand rep right away. And now we're building a team. Normally, when we find this leader, and if we think they're a locker, within 2 generations, we will find another leader that goes like this. And how do you know this locker? And we call this second locker a locker. This is the formation you want to find. They're finding really good people. Those people make decisions very quickly. And within 2 levels of that locker is another locker. Normally, this locker appears 5 generations of brand representative, or 5 generations of executive down. So we call this the 5-level rule. Generally, it's 5 levels of executive levels. So that's why it was important to go 10 levels down. Not everybody becomes an executive. So if half of them become an executive, that fifth level locker existed on your 10th level. So you can see why we have to drive down deep. Now, we have run a team in Mexico. It went 20 levels down before we found the first locker. And there's many cases like that as well. So keep on going down. Don't stop going down until you find your leader, your locker, your person. They become a brand representative very quickly, and they find others that will join their business. So the whole idea of this second process is, what does a locker look like? A locker is very influential over influential people. So they have a lot of influence over very high level, strong people. So, for example, if you have a maid that cleans homes, she might know a lot of influential people. She cleans maybe the richest homes in the area, but she's not very influential over them. If she uses a skincare product, they're not all looking at her and going, well, if you're using that, I want to use that. On the other hand, if you have an influential person, they have a lot of, influence over their community. They're the church leader or whatever. They start looking better, and people look at them and they say, yeah, I'm using this product. They will say, I want whatever you're using. Those are influential people. Okay. And it's not just product sales. I mean, especially over the business itself. They're like, you're doing that business? When we got the president of the association to do the business, he had a lot of influence. When we said yes, he looked at it this morning and he joined. They said, what do you mean joined? And he said, well, he LOI'd, he did 1,000 points, like what I just explained to you in the Me Plus 2 plan. They go, oh, yeah. So what do you want to do? Well, if he's in, I think I'm in. And they joined. Influential over influential people. So lockers also have a couple other elements that you can tell. They tend to be able to even sponsor family members. Probably the hardest thing to do, sponsor family members. But they tend to be able to. Patty Acosta, her cousin, her sister, her, all of her friends, they're all her frontline people. They are influential over those people. A lot of real estate people, a lot of top level business people are in her organization, frontline. They tend to have a belief. So when they see the program and they decide, as soon as they decide, they talk to their friends like completely convicted. This is really good. I think this is going to be strong and big. They will say it very confidently. Like one day, they're looking at the program and maybe wondering if they should do it. But the minute they decide, boom, the next day they can tell it to their friends in a strong manner. They have confidence in themselves. And you will notice that with lockers, okay? So look for the lockers or the leaders and drive the line down, 5-level rule, okay? That's the 5-level rule. The next step is called fan the line. Fan the line is, we're here, and now you have your locker, and they become a brand rep, and they're starting to get others, and there's some volume here. Now we can tell everybody else above, you need to find another level 1,000 points. Minimum, you need 2,000 points, level 1. So we want you to at least find one more person at 1,000 points and get 2,000 level 1. In this way, if this person has 5,000 points, now there's 7, 9, 11. Now you have 11,000 points here. What do you tell the top one? You need 2,000 points, you become a brand rep, you break executive. Now, does everybody do it? No, they do not. If you're 9 levels down, often people say, not interested, it sounds good, but I don't know, maybe not for me. And within the next month, you are now making 5 generations of executives. So the goal is at at least three levels of brand representatives in a line, at least. Okay, the goal is really 5 or more, but at least 3. And that's the idea. And maybe some of the other ones will become an executive the following month, and you will have some others like this become brand representatives. Okay, so again, this is what we are looking for, a line that goes down very quickly. Okay, so we call this fan the line. We're motivating the uplines to at least become a brand rep and stay in the game. If not, they will lose those people. They will have a chance to become a brand representative up to a certain period, 6 months, and then they will lose them. Well, actually, they have to become a brand representative very quickly, and be in the qualification period of 6 months, fully qualifying every month with 1,000 points, or they will lose that line forever. So it is a do or die situation for the uplines once you have the locker in place or the leader in place. Now, they may or not be a locker, so I'm just gonna say once you have that leader in place, you now have it. Now, this person at the bottom starts to build, and maybe it's a few months later, but they start to become a Ruby executive. And another Ruby. You will see everybody else gold or lapis, gold, lapis, 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 gold. This formation is quite common, and we actually can continue to fan the line using these volumes as an incentive. You got the strong leader under you, build. And we ask everybody to do their prospecting calls, but we bring almost all of our energy to these leaders here. This is where we put our energy. We're doing calls every day with our Ruby and Ruby leaders. We're working with them every day. These are all in public meetings, public trainings, public everything. We gave them the system packet. They're working, but they're taking a little longer. It's perfectly fine. But the lockers, the movers, we're working with every day. And this is a very typical, what we call fire in the hole. We're putting a lot of heat at the bottom of the team, and that's producing a lot of volume. That volume is rolling past these people. They have to become rubies or above to capture all of that volume. So they have an incentive to work. Meanwhile, we continue to work with the rubies, bringing them to eventually blue diamonds. So the idea is fire in the hole. The heat is rising up. And then we create blue diamonds at the bottom. So these are blue diamond leaders, way at the bottom. And these gold executives or lapis executives, let's say gold, how much does a gold make? They make 10% of level 1. If this blue diamond in his own volume does 3,000 points, this gold will make 10%. This gold will make $300 if he maximizes at 3,000 points, okay? Or 2.5% really could be possible if they just do 2,000 points. So they make at the most $300 as a gold. Now, If this blue diamond has, 100,000 points, I'm just going to use an easy number to calculate. This gold could receive 5%, which is $5,000. So we call it this the fear of loss. They have a fear of loss. They're making 300, but they could make 5,000. They're losing $4,500 a month. A month. They're leaving money on the table. The blue diamond is building across and building other leadership legs, 3 of them, and other executives. And the next blue diamond is doing the same. So there's a lot of volume here at the bottom, and these uplines are deciding, can I make it? Can I have it move or not? So I'm going to give you an example of this. This happens a little later in the game, but this is a good example. So this is Alan. I'm just going to put myself at the top. Alan, I sponsored Terry too. And Terry's introduced me to Dean. Dean Wynn. So this Dean, when I went to his home, he had studied huge personal development, had a library. I asked him, wow, have you read all of these books? He told me more than once. That was an indication leader. Dean had 3 people there at the meeting, and all of them seemed strong. And using ESP, really, using the definite main purpose in life statement, being connected, like I said, number 1, have the mindset of success, using this feeling, this gut feeling. I talked to a guy named Nagao at that meeting, the first time I met Dean, and I said to Lan, I think you are a team elite. I just had the feeling like he was strong. He had done a lot of personal development as well. He had done network marketing before, so has Dean, 19 years, and Lan looked really good. And Lan on that meeting told me, well, I want you to meet Feng Lei in Chicago. Within 1 month, I was in Chicago. I met Feng Lei, and wow, she was a leader, a strong leader. She was like really direct, very, very controlling. But when I met her, I said, wow, she could be really good. I heard her speak one day, and even she couldn't speak much English, she spoke so strongly. And Feng told me, you need to see Tony Ta in Louisville, Kentucky. I honestly didn't know where Kentucky was. And I was like, Kentucky Fried Chicken? I don't know what. But I went to Louisville within 1 month. And meeting Tony, he was a businessman. He owned supply. Feng Lei owned supply chains of nail salons. And Tony also had at his meeting Andy Lau. And Andy introduced his cousin-in-law, Anwin. But Tony told me, you need to see Jenny Wynn. And there was Tuan, the business partner of An. Why I'm drawing out this map is this gives you a great idea of how I, Alan Nagao, drive the line, because I went to all of these locations, all the way down Louisville, South Carolina, but when Tony told me to go to see Jenny, I followed the lead. And when I met Jenny, she seemed really with a burning desire to build Nu Skin and a reason why she wants to do it. I had her write her statement, self-confidence formula. I had her do everything. And everything I did with her, she doubled. If I told her to do the statement twice a day, she did it 4 times a day. The next time I went to her home, she had a statement on the wall in Vietnamese. I said, "What does that statement say?" And her partner said, "Well, it says, I will not sleep until I accomplish my 3 3s. 3 new contacts a day, 3 presentations a day, 3 new 80 hours a week. I will not sleep until I accomplish that." And it was in front of her bedroom. And I said, there's a leader here. So I fell in love with Jenny's work ethic and her attitude. And she needed a lot of confidence building and everything. I gave her everything that she needed, and she started to work like crazy. And it is that work ethic that you can find. I felt this was my locker here with Jenny, and I started to help her. Now, once I started to help her, we built many lines, and we looked for other leaders, and this team became 1 million points a month. That team under Jenny became 1 million points. And on win, incredible leader, 4-star platinum team elite. Tuan Win, amazing from the heart, leader and businessman. All of them started to build their business. They became rubies, emeralds, diamonds, blue diamonds right away. And this entire team grew upwards because this million points at 5% represents $50,000 of pay to everybody above, that wants to build a blue diamond distributorship. So yes, they became blue diamond, blue diamond, blue diamond, team elite, team elite, team elite. Now what I have is team elite, team elite. These are 4-star platinum team elites like Dean Win and Lan Kao, team elite, team elite. Oh, there's actually only one blue diamond. This is a blue diamond, $1 million circle, team elite, team elite, team elite, team elite. And now under Jenny, many, many new team elites and 4-star platinum team elite. So you might say, why would you work since you get paid 6 generations down? Just counting, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why would you work past your 6 levels? But look what happened. It makes very solid your team, and it has built 12 team elites. I mean, well, in the initial run, 11 team elite, $11 million circles. So yes, I only get paid 6 of them, but of course, it is definitely worth it. And it has done some amazing things in this line, like really beautiful things in this line to solidify the Vietnamese team and to build this incredible structure. So this is the final result. Now, I know that people can, the team elite legs right now are 40,000 points. But I'm going to say that I never stop working with the leader until I'm at least 200,000 to 400,000 points. So continuing to put energy here every month, going to Texas with Jenny to build for about 2 years is what I did. And the same happened with Patty Acosta. I spent, years building in Colombia with the locker, the leader, and this produced locker, and amazing leaders all the way down. Amazing, amazing teams. So anyway, that is the process of Drive the Line, finding and looking for really good people, leaders, and finding lockers, and then continuing on. The last thing I'm going to share is, what do I do monthly? to find a locker or a leader? Well, I always say every month, this is you want to find at least 2 new LOIs by the end of every month. Every single month, find at least 2. Because as you try to drive lines over and over, you will notice that some lines go down and they may look something like this, and others just kind of go down and then peter out. And you do everything you can to go after and help them build, but this one quits, then this one quits, and down quits. And you have really 1 out of 2 lines. If you have driven the line as hard as you can, this occurs quite often. So having 2 LOIs and having them at the end of every month, so you want to have 2 LOIs at the end of a month, ensuring that you have the most amount of time to drive the line, 30 days. Okay, so at the beginning of the month, you start going and start driving the lines, and you have 2 new LOIs at the end of next month, and you go again. Now, not all of these lines have resulted in lockers. So remember my first example I said with Grant, and they were all leaders. They were all personal development people. They have spent over 15,000 in personal development. Even still, going 15 levels of LOIs down, we did not find a locker. So what is a locker? They're willing to work every day. They're willing to do their 3 threes. They're willing to do the personal development and learn the business. They are great students of the business. And so we did not find that. So, that line has completely gone away. Gone away. There's volumes left of customers, but the line is no longer there. So if you don't find a locker in a line, and you get tired of just constantly asking them to work and join the Zoom and all of that, they were all busy with their own businesses, doing their own things, and it went away. So if you don't establish a locker and a locker under a locker, if you only establish a locker, you could lose the entire line. But locking the locker is the key to keeping your lines and keeping very strong lines. So, this year that Patty Acosta line, I don't know, produced 20 new team elites. They're all in that line. So don't think it is just, one person. Dean Wynn has, I don't know, this is Dean. Dean has, I don't know, Kit. I mean, there's so many with other 4-star platinum and platinum team elites under him. This is Lynn. You have Dean, you have that original King Kong leg. We call these elephant legs. Elephant, I don't forget. Elephant legs in the thing. But, Kits is becoming a very good sized leg. There's legs going into Europe. There's Vietnam legs. So that's how you do it. You just start building, and this is with just one leader. I love working with Dean. It's so much fun. So that's how this is produced. Okay, guys, this is our Drive the Line topic. It is quite intense, but why do you want to drive lines? It is the number one way to maximize your pay. Deep for dough is the way I heard it from my senior partners, my uplines. Go deep for dough and wide for show. So go deep. I mean, I'm over 30 levels down in Mexico. I'm with just like 1 or 2 lockers in that line. In Vietnam, I'm probably 40 or 50 levels of executives deep. With many, many leaders in that line, because we locker. The locker takes time sometimes to find, but it is definitely worth it. So over time, I would say step 1 and 2 is within the first month. Step 3 and 4 normally, I mean, recently it's been faster, but 4 to 6 months. But the steps that I'm showing you now, it's years, couple of years, 1 or 2 years in the making, and continue to work. And so with New Skin, the more you want to make, what Nathan Ricks told me is you learn the business. It takes you 1 to 3 years to learn the business. And then you build your Blue Diamond and Team Elite. And then it's how long can you last will determine ultimately your paycheck. So, Drive the Lines does take some effort over time. Have an incredible day, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our topic.